It may be said that the American Revolution was actually America's first Civil War. Landed gentry were mostly in support of the early patriots, such as Virginians Patrick Henry, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison, among others. But many common laborers did not feel the need to fight to be independent of England. After all, what was in it for them? Some wealthy landowners, with strong commercial ties to the mother country, were also content with the status quo and actively, and not so actively, sided with Britain. Northumberland County, Virginia, in 1776, expressed divided loyalties. In May of that year, Britain's Lord Dunmore landed a small force on Gwynn's Island near the mouth of the Rappahannock River, setting off alarm bells in nearby communities. In response, Virginia's Committee of Safety ordered 3 companies of Minutemen from Northumberland to take up positions on the shore to protect against an incursion by the British. The invasion never came, but Virginia's leaders ordered local militia to immediately confiscate weapons and ammunition from residents who were thought to be loyal to the Crown. In Northumberland, 5 men were identified as Tories. They were David Ball Jr., George Ball, Thomas Waddy, and Bartholomew Dameron. When asked to swear an oath to the Patriot cause, all 5 refused and were disarmed by the militia. Of the 5 men, the case of David Ball is most interesting because he was clearly a member of the oligarchy as it existed in Northumberland County. A bachelor in his 40s, he was the son of Captain George Ball, who had served as a justice and a sheriff. He owned a Northumberland plantation called Clover Day and was a pillar of the community, a vestryman, justice of the peace, and likely a captain in the militia. If anyone was in the position to subvert the Northumberland leadership's pro-independence agenda, it was probably David Ball. Joseph Hurst was another wealthy Tory who owned land in Wicomico Parish. Hurst was part owner of a schooner and was likely involved in trade with Britain, which could explain his loyalties. When British warships sailed up Chesapeake Bay, Hurst sailed out to meet them and may have offered his services as a pilot. This activity eventually brought him to the attention of Northumberland County officials, who hauled him before the court to answer for his treasonous activities. But the charge was only a misdemeanor, and after Hurst pleaded guilty, the court declined further prosecution. However, when British warships sailed back down the bay, Hurst and his schooner once again sailed out to offer assistance. This action landed him back in Northumberland County Court, and this time the justices were less lenient. He was remanded to jail until he could be moved to Williamsburg to face trial for treason. However, there is no record that Hurst was ever moved to Williamsburg, and the whole affair seemed to have been dropped. In fact, the actions against Ball and Hurst may have backfired against the Patriots, dampening enthusiasm for the Patriot cause in Northumberland, as more men began to voice reservations about the war. As the war concluded, partisan feeling quickly faded as people in Northumberland County went about their daily lives. In the end, this Civil War, at least in Northumberland County, appears to have been far more civil than the second one that would follow 77 years later.